Hello mates, welcome to the West 6 Mixology podcast. I'm Scotty Clark and our show today is about a classic winter warmer that's been soothing souls for centuries. The comforting embrace of warm spiced honey blended with whiskey. That gentle kiss of heat that wraps around you like a cozy blanket on a cold night. We're diving deep into the Hot Toddy, exploring how this timeless drink combines the richness of spirits with the healing touch of honey and spices to create liquid comfort in a glass. The Hot Toddy. Picture this. It's cold, wet, miserable. You're fighting off something nasty. Your throat feels like sandpaper, and someone hands you a steaming mug of whiskey, honey, lemon, and hot water. You take a sip. The steam clears your sinuses. The honey coats your throat. The whiskey warms you from the inside out. Is this medicine or is this pleasure? Here's the brilliant part. Nobody knows and nobody cares. The Hot Toddy, the only cocktail that's pulled off the greatest trick in drinking history, convincing everyone it's good for you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Scotty, you charming digital devil. Is this actually a remedy, or are we just getting drunk while sick? And the answer, my friend, is yes. Both. Neither. It's complicated, like a relationship with someone who's terrible for you, but makes you feel fantastic. The Hot Toddy sits in this glorious grey area between pharmacy and bar, between grandmother's wisdom and bartender's craft, between I should really rest, and one more won't hurt. It's been doing this dance for centuries, and we're all better for it. The story starts, as so many good drinking stories do, with the British Empire and questionable decisions. Back in the 17th century, British colonials in India encountered a drink called toddy, fermented palm sap tapped from toddy palms. Now, the actual toddy from India was nothing like what we're making today, but the Brits, being the Brits, appropriated the name and slapped it onto their own concoction of spirits, hot water, and sugar. Classic colonialism, really. Take the word, ignore the original meaning, make it about whiskey. By the 18th century, the toddy had fully evolved in Scotland and Ireland into what we'd recognise today. Picture a draughty tavern in Edinburgh, rain hammering the windows, peat smoke thick in the air. You've just walked in from weather that could strip paint, and the publican hands you a pewter mug filled with whiskey, hot water, and maybe some sugar if you're lucky. No lemon yet. Citrus was still exotic and expensive. No fancy honey, that came later. Just the essentials, spirit, heat, and the promise that you'd survive another Scottish winter. There's this wonderful myth that the drink was invented by a doctor named Robert Bentley Todd, who supposedly prescribed brandy, cinnamon, and sugar to patients at King's College Hospital in London during the 19th century. It's a great story. It's also nonsense. References to toddy show up in print decades before Dr. Todd was even born. But here's why the myth persists. Because people wanted to believe it. They needed to believe that this delicious, warming, slightly intoxicating drink was medicine, that it had a doctor's blessing, that getting gently sloshed while battling a cold was actually therapeutic intervention. And you know what? Maybe it was. Sort of. Not really, but kind of. The alcohol dilates your blood vessels, creating that warming sensation. The honey has genuine antibacterial properties and coats your throat. The lemon provides vitamin C, though the heat destroys most of it. The hot water keeps you hydrated and creates soothing steam. None of this cures a cold, because nothing cures a cold, but it makes you feel better, helps you sleep, and provides comfort when you're miserable. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes medicine is just making the unbearable bearable. The Victorian era turned the toddy into a legitimate part of invalid cuisine, That's what they called food and drink for sick people back then, which sounds wonderfully dramatic. Mrs. Beeton's Book of Household Management, the Bible of Victorian homemaking, included toddy recipes among the remedies for chills and influenza. It was prescribed by actual physicians, prepared by dutiful wives and nurses, and consumed by suffering patients who probably weren't suffering quite as much as they let on. Yes, darling, still feeling dreadful. Another toddy should do it. Prohibition couldn't destroy the toddy because, conveniently, it was medicine. Doctors could legally prescribe whiskey for medicinal purposes, and suddenly everyone in America had a terrible cold that required regular doses of spirits mixed with hot water. The pharmacy became the speakeasy's respectable cousin. You weren't drinking, you were treating your condition. The law said so. So what makes a proper toddy? Let's break this down like we're dismantling a beautiful, simple machine. You need 4 essential components: whiskey, honey, lemon, and hot water. That's it. Everything else, the cinnamon stick, the cloves, the ceremony, that's theatre. Delicious, aromatic theatre, but not essential. The whiskey is your foundation. Traditionally, you'd use whatever whiskey was local: Scotch in Scotland, Irish in Ireland, bourbon in America, rye in the Northeast. Each creates a completely different experience. Irish whiskey gives you smooth, approachable sweetness. This is the toddy for someone who doesn't typically drink spirits. Scotch, especially a lightly peated one, adds smoke and malt character that turns the drink complex and contemplative. Bourbon brings vanilla, caramel, and corn sweetness that plays beautifully with honey. Rye adds spice and dryness that keeps the drink from getting cloying.
Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai.
Here's what matters. Use something decent but not precious. Mid-range quality. You wouldn't pour Pappy Van Winkle into hot water any more than you'd use it to clean your floors. But don't use bottom shelf rock gut either. Flaws get magnified in a simple drink. Jameson, Famous Grouse, Buffalo Trace, Rittenhouse Rye. These are your friends. 80 to 90 proof is ideal. Higher proof can be harsh when hot. 2 ounces is the standard measure, though if you're making this for someone genuinely ill or unaccustomed to spirits, drop it to 1.5. The honey is where magic happens, not sugar honey. Sugar just sweetens. Honey sweetens, adds viscosity, contributes floral complexity, and coats your throat like a liquid blanket. Use real honey, not the corn syrup pretenders. Light honeys like clover or orange blossom work best for a classic toddy. They sweeten without dominating. Darker honeys like buckwheat or chestnut create a more robust, almost medicinal quality that's delicious but intense. 1 tablespoon is your baseline. Adjust to taste, but remember that hot drinks taste less sweet than cold ones, so you need more honey than you think. The lemon must be fresh. This isn't negotiable. Bottled lemon juice tastes like regret and preservatives. You want 1/2 ounce of juice squeezed from an actual lemon, plus either a wheel or a peel for garnish. The juice provides the bright, tart backbone that prevents the drink from becoming cloying honey whiskey soup. The peel releases aromatic oils into the steam, making every sip a full sensory experience. The acidity also helps dissolve the honey and balances the sweetness in a way that makes the drink infinitely more interesting. The hot water is the ingredient everyone overlooks and everyone gets wrong. Not boiling, that's too hot. Boiling water burns your mouth, evaporates too much alcohol, and can crack your glass if you're not careful. You want water between 160 and 180 degrees. Hot enough to be comforting and aromatic, not so hot it's dangerous. 4 to 6 ounces, depending on how spirit-forward you like it. This dilutes your 2 ounces of whiskey down to a gentle 10 to 15% alcohol by volume, strong enough to warm, mild enough to sip while sick. Making a toddy is almost embarrassingly simple, which is part of its genius. Pre-warm your glass or mug with hot water. This prevents cracking and keeps your drink hotter longer. Discard the warming water. Add your honey to the warm glass. It starts dissolving immediately. Add lemon juice. Add whiskey. Top with hot water. Stir until the honey fully dissolves. Garnish with a lemon wheel studded with 3 or 4 cloves, or express a lemon peel over the top and drop it in. Add a cinnamon stick if you're feeling festive. The clove-studded lemon wheel is traditional and visually lovely. You're essentially creating an aromatic life raft that floats on the surface, releasing citrus oils and warm spice as the drink sits. The cinnamon stick serves triple duty: stirrer, aromatic element, and visual cue that this is a serious toddy, not just hot whiskey water. Here's the technique everyone misses: temperature management. Your water should be hot, but not boiling. Your glass should be pre-warmed. Your lemon juice should be room temperature if possible. You're building a drink that needs to stay warm through the entire drinking experience, while never being so hot it's undrinkable. It's a narrow window, and hitting it separates a mediocre toddy from a transcendent one.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast, too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
The beauty of the toddy is how it invites variation while remaining fundamentally itself. The Irish version often skips the lemon entirely and uses sugar instead of honey, sometimes adding a few cloves directly to the drink. It's called... All right, thank you for joining us for the West 6 podcast. Drink responsibly, and if you had a good time, press follow and rate our show 5 stars. This is Scotty signing off. May your troubles be lighter than your cocktails.
Grep News. Thomas.